I'd like to call to order the public hearing of Monday, May 10th at the Custom Middle School. Deb, please call the roll.
Mr. Agia?
Here.
Mr. Costa? Mr. Hart?
Here.
Mr. Hetzel?
Here.
Mr. Corey?
Here.
Ms. Larrabee? Here. Mayor Coogan?
Here. Salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed to be acknowledged and permissible. Any citizens' input, Deb, please?
Yes, there is. Mr. Colin Dias sent in some citizens' input. In accordance with the school committee policy BEDH, public comment at school committee meetings. Number 4, improper comments and remarks will not be allowed. And number 5, committee will not hear personal complaints of school personnel nor against any member of the school committee. Good afternoon, Mayor Coogan and committee members Aguiar and Hart. I wish to express my sincere interest in the First Amendment right of freedom of speech. I believe it is important for every resident in our community to be allowed to give their full, unfiltered opinion to the school committee on whatever they wish to discuss. Residents should also be allowed to give citizens input wherever they want.
Anything further?
Nope.
Here we go. School choice, out-of-district students in grades 6 to 12 for the 2021 school year. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none?
Superintendent?
Yeah. Mr. Malone, you want to talk on this issue?
Again, man?
You want to talk on the school choice issue?
The only thing I'd have to say is that I'd hope the committee keeps the policy the same as it's been for the last several years.
Any further discussion on the first bullet point? Kevin?
Can we please, just for the edification of the public, explain what your two recommendations are? And the rationale?
So that the rationale for keeping school choice for out-of-district students in grades 6 through 12 for the coming school year and non-resident students in grades K through 5 for employees consistent with collective bargaining agreements that we've had in place. This is the same business as usual as that we've had. We've had success with the model that we have, and given that we don't know what the future holds in terms of when we open New Durfee and in space and all those kinds of things down the road, it's good that we just had these for a year at a time.
The reason I was asking is, so you're recommending that in 6 through 12, we allow school choice, which means what?
Huh?
So you're asking us to say keep it the same, but
Yes.
in 6 through 12, you're asking yes, you're saying yes for school choice. So
Yeah.
I'd just like to know, and I think the public would like to know, what does that mean for a child that that lives in Somerset or another community? Are they able to come in? Are they not able to come in? Or what is this, the details of this situation?
Yep, I'm going to bring up members of my team to talk to you about the specifics that have a better handle. I'll bring Marie up.
Hi, Mr. Aguirre.
Hello.
I think that the rationale for having 6 through 12 is because K to 5 is usually maxed out with class size. Students, we have some children who are from out of district whose parents have requested that they come in, or we have staff members who bring their children into Fall River Public Schools, or we also have some students that go out. Those are the children that, if somebody requests and petitions for their child to attend Fall River Public Schools and they're out of district, we see if there's space, and we allow them to do that.
And so, we're not, when we talk out of district, we're not talking out of district special education.
Oh, no, 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 this is for
Meaning
typical
don't live in
students.
Fall River.
Absolutely, this is
So
for typical
what is the
students.
financial ramifications of any such decision?
There's money that accompanies them, right, Kevin?
There's a state rate, Kevin will explain it to you.
So it's an assessment that is given to each community. So for every student that comes in, we get about $5,000. For every student that goes out, it's about $5,000 as well.
So you say in or out. So if we approve this as yes, that means students can also leave Fall River to go to other communities?
Yes,
But
To
whether-
districts that also
That
have
also
school
have choice.
correct.
Yeah.
Right, but we cannot deny, if another district has choice, we can't deny a student from Fall River going.
Correct.
So it really doesn't matter what our decision is on this.
Well, it does, because what we're saying is we'll allow kids to come in.
Correct.
But if we said no, we don't want to allow students to come in under the 6 through 12.
It's,
It wouldn't matter anyway. If
It
the
wouldn't
student
matter
in
anyway.
6th grade that wanted to go to another school district that allowed it, they would be allowed to go, and we would pay $5,000?
They can only go to a district that's also school choice.
Right.
So if we said we weren't going to be a school choice district, then we can't accept students from out of district to
We
come to
can't
Fall
accept them,
River.
but our students could still
Can
go.
still go,
If they
And-
chose the school.
Obviously, we're not making, it's 5,000 is, we pay a lot more than that, so. Do we know how many we have? Is it equal, roughly?
No, there's more students that go out than come in.
More so that go out than come in. And but this vote wouldn't matter, like we just said.
If you said we didn't want to be part of choice, we would still have to pay the $5,000 for the kids that leave.
Regardless.
We can't stop kids from leaving. But the good side of choice for us is that we also have slots. It helps our bargaining team members have a benefit of having their kids in the system that they work in. And then for us, at the older 6 through 12, there's a benefit for some of our specific programs where we get some kids in from other districts. So the choice is has always been something that's, it's very hard for cities. I'm going to give you an example. Like when I was a superintendent in Swampscott, we boarded Lynn. Swampscott, Somerset, probably similar kind of places, but we never were part of choice because we didn't feel that it would be fair to Lynn to allow kids from Lynn to come to Swampscott. So we said no. So we weren't a choice district. Kids that wanted to go to other districts, we'd have to pay for them, but we didn't take any kids in. And that, in many places, there's always it's kind of a fight, if you will, between particularly the cities and the suburbs around if you say your choice. Sometimes we lose a lot of kids because they have that opportunity. So if more systems said no to choice, but allowed it only for contractual purposes, you wouldn't lose as many kids, or you steal from other places. But I think the model that we have, given the back and forth, and as long as it's an agreement that we only have to look at every single year, we haven't been hurt by it.
Yep.
So it's provided a benefit and opportunity both ways, and we haven't had enough problem that we would say, let's not do this. And the good news is, it's only for a year. We'll be back here having the same conversation next year.
Yeah, and there's no way to limit how many, there's not like you can do,
Well, it's limited by how much space you have available. So we could say no to choice if it's above our class size max.
just like another district could say, no,
Yes,
they can't.
yeah,
not-
and
not
that's
big
how
enough.
it usually works.
Yeah. And contractually, when you put contractually on the K to 5, contractually, it's the same K to 12. If our employees have it in their contract, and then we get $5,000?
And that's why yes, and that's why we have it bifurcated the way we do, because we get, at the front end of it, only for that certain group, members, bargaining units, kids, we get the $5,000 rate, But when they enter sixth grade, they become just part of regular school choice because we're part of that.
Then we get the full Chapter 70 number?
Yeah.
So they count as October 1 number plus your 5.
Plus your school
five-
choice.
Plus the 5.
And other than for space, otherwise you'd probably say yes to both then.
Yes.
If it wasn't for space, you'd say, because then we'd get,
If we had a space issue, we would bring that forward to you ahead of
our
tonight's
enrollment
hearing.
would go up by whatever it is.
Say that again, I'm sorry?
So if we said yes to the K to 5, those kids automatically becoming part of our enrollment, October 1 enrollment?
Oh, they're counted, but then they get backed out. So they're not part of your Chapter 70 because you get a different pot of money for
But I'm
them.
saying because we have no. Is that what you're saying? Because we have no choice in K to 5.
Well, we do have choice for this specific group of the bargaining members' children.
Right, so why don't we get the whole Chapter 70 money for them? That's what I'm saying. How can we get more for those children than what we're getting?
Because choice, it's a state law. It's the same across every district. Go ahead, Kevin.
Correct. So what ends up happening is the kid is still counted in the other district that, that they technically reside in, and we only get the piece, the tuition for the $5,000 that they.
And why?
I'm sorry?
Why do we only get the 5,000?
Because the kid doesn't live in Fall River, because he lives out of.
But does it have
Fall River.
anything to do with our decision here tonight to say no?
Oh,
No, that doesn't.
It's just the
doesn't.
6th grade, it's arbitrary, the state says those get counted, but the 5th grade doesn't? We just heard that when you go to 6th grade, they actually, we get the full amount. Did I mishear that?
No, they get counted, but we only get the assessment, which you mentioned was the 5,000.
Mhm.
So you only get 5,000 for school choice. That's it.
Regardless, doesn't change in 6th grade.
It doesn't change, but what gets counted is, in terms of enrollment, when I mentioned they get counted, but not counted in the Chapter 70. So our overall enrollment would be X, but when you look at your funding of it, they back out the students that are choice, and you only get a 5,000 per.
So in essence, we're taking a $10,000 hit for every student that comes here. If we
We're
get
taking-
15,000 from the Chapter
Yeah, we're
70,
taking a $6,000 hit, but it's 6,000, we wouldn't have those kids. So you actually make out. So you get $6,000. It's the kids that leave that cost us more.
yep. So what is
So
that?
we still get 4,000 for the kids that leave, if that makes sense.
But what I'm saying is our per pupil from the state is more than
It's
10,000
about 11,800.
when all said and done?
Yeah, what
Seems
is-
like-
this year, probably slightly higher.
It's higher. I'd
probably
have to,
get-
I'd have to
So
go,
you
I'd have to go.
understand what I'm saying, is that, in essence, we would just be taking less money per child, but we have to educate the same children.
Correct,
So-
we still have to educate the kid, no
Yeah,
matter
you
what.
can look at it a bunch of ways, but I just wanted to know if it matters whether we said no or yes, because if the kids can leave anyway in elementary school, which is what we just said, subject to space, why are we not allowing elementary? So if somebody in another place wanted to send their elementary students here, to your point, we're getting $5,000, we wouldn't have got anything, why not allow it? And if it's subject to space, we can say we're full when we're full. Trying to rationalize, why would we say no to K to 5?
It's the way it's always been here. I think it has to do with space. We don't have much space, Kevin. I got class size at the elementary level, we're full.
Yep.
So it's a space issue at the elementary
Well,
level.
it's space and it's to meet the contractual,
Right,
requirement
so
that
that's
we
why we
have.
say no at the K-5, we say no except for the employees' kids. And then we accept it when we have more space, which is middle and high. But for example, choice at the elementary level, I don't have enough, each year we have to balance, so how do I add teachers? I have to add another teacher at Fonseca to get that class size down at that bubble grade that they have. So that's the issue with the elementary and why we've always said no with the elementary to choice. We don't have the space.
Yeah, I mean, just because we've done it years in a row doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. I think it's a fruitful conversation to have. If we can't do it with space, it's something to look forward in the future. But the way I'm just looking at it is if we said we'd have to approve that choice to come in, subject to having space. That's what if we didn't have that choice to say, no, we don't have any room, what if we did have students that wanted to come in? Saying yes really doesn't mean we're gonna get bombarded with kids because you just said we have the ability to say no. That's the part that I'm trying to have a hard time understanding.
Kev, can I say something?
Sure.
What happened, Kev, sorry, if the room's got 28 kids and 3 of them are choice, the way transients move in the elementary schools, we're gonna have to do something radical if 3 kids enroll that are in that district. What are we gonna do? There's more flexibility built in the middle and high schools for seats than there is in the elementary. Elementary's tight as a drum. Sometimes when a kid enrolls that's in the district, a Fall River kid, they don't know what they're gonna do with them. They may have to bus them, they may have to move them. If we give seats to choice kids, we're gonna box ourselves in really good. We just don't have that flexibility. At the high school, we do, and at the middle schools, we do. Yeah, elementary's tight as a drum, that's all
And I
it
would
is.
assume that they drive themselves. If they live in another
there's
community.
no
we're not going to bus
transportation.
No,
them.
there's no
choice.
transportation choice,
Yeah,
no.
so that would, in order for that argument to be made, you just have to say every single classroom across the whole city is at 28 kids under that
28 is-
logic. Because if there wasn't,
We're at
the
20
person from another community can be, you give them the spot that's available in the system. I don't think anybody's trying to say we're at 28 or 30 kids in every single elementary grade across the whole city.
We balanced at 26, Kevin.
I don't think we do, but I think that we always have to leave some spots available because we have kids coming in and out all the time. So we don't want to get ourselves in a situation where we would not have space for, you're right, not every single class across the districts is maxed out, but we do have to have some leeway for kids that do come into the district.
Yep, I understand, I yield.
Okay. Mr. Hart?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to, that, you guys just clarified a few things for me, but just one real quick. The numbers that are leaving as opposed to the numbers that are coming in, do you have those?
I don't have the exact numbers,
What
but
do-
there
is
there
there a
is,
ballpark?
there is more leaving than there is coming in.
More leaving than there is coming. And do these, the people that are coming in to the district, are they coming from everywhere, or is it gateway cities?
It's
It's just that-
surrounding communities around us. We get quite a few kids from Westport.
Okay.
A lot of kids come for sports, athletic
Correct.
programs, and those kinds of things that we do at the secondary level. So there is more kids on the other list. We just signed or I signed the certification form today for this program because the state is very, like clockwork on making sure that they project manage and so they know. So I'll be able to give you official figures probably in the next week once they get certified.
All right, thank you. I
I'll
yield.
put it in a Friday email to you.
Anything further?
Okay.
We have to vote on that first bullet point, right?
Yes.
Get a motion and a second?
A motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve school choice for out-of-district students grades 6 to 12. Deb, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Agia?
No, is this on the regular agenda or is this it?
It's also on the regular.
You have
Usually
your
in a public
hearing,
hearing,
you
we don't
close the
vote.
hearing.
No vote here?
and
The
no,
vote's in the regular meeting?
The vote's in the
Okay.
regular meeting.
The second point then, thank you, Kev.
You're welcome.
School choice for non-resident students, K to 5, we just discussed that, consistent with the collective bargaining agreement. Any further discussion on the K to 5s? Okay, on,
Yeah, also if you could, based on the conversation and the information given to the public, to again ask if the public has any comments or wish to speak on this matter.
anybody that has any comments or issues related to school choice, please feel free to make sure we're made aware of them before the next meeting. Anything further? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Deb, please call the roll.
Mr. Agia?
Yes?
Mr. Costa? Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Corey?
Yep.
Ms. Larrabee?
Yes.
Mayor Coogan?
Yes. Meeting adjourned.